Welcome to the Wheelbarrow Profits Podcast, where you get multifamily investing made real. Learn from top players in the real estate investment world as they share their secrets with you and discover proven strategies on apartment investing that actually work. To learn more about Wheelbarrow Profits, visit jakeandgino.com, your one-stop shop for everything multifamily. Now to your hosts, Jake and Gino.
Hello, everybody. This is Jake Stenziano, host of the Wheelbarrow Profits Podcast, here with my co-host, the multifamily mentor, the coach, the chef, the father of six, the best-selling author, the G-Daddy, Gino Barbaro. Gino, how's it going?
Mr. Stenziano, doing great. How you doing, bro?
Always making it happen, big man. Today's guest is the land geek, Mark Podolsky. Mark is the owner of Frontier Properties, which has completed over 5,000 land deals. Prior to his land investing success, Mark had a high-stress, soulless corporate job and felt trapped in a state of solo economic dependency. Escaping solo economic dependency changed Mark's life in so many positive ways that he decided to help others in achieving their financial goals. I think I've been there myself. So anyways, without further ado, Mark, welcome to the show.
Jake, Gino, a pleasure. Thanks so much for having me, guys.
So tell us a little bit about the jump from the corporate grind into real estate land investing.
So I used to do investment banking, private equity groups, mergers and acquisitions, enterprise value of companies, mid-market, let's say, 5 to 500 million. So not big, right? And I hated it. I had a 45-minute commute to work and back. I had a boss that micromanaged me. I had long hours. I had high stress. The feeling of not having any control, in a sense. And it was miserable, right? I wouldn't get like the Sunday night blues anticipating Monday coming. I'd get the Friday night blues anticipating the weekend going by really fast. And then having to be at work on Monday. So at my firm, we hire this guy, and he's telling me he's buying raw land, and he's flipping it online, and he's making 300% return on investment. Well, I'm looking at companies all day long, right? A great company has 15% EBITDA or free cash flow, right? Great company. Your average company is at 10%. And I'm looking at companies all day long below 10%. So I'm from St. Louis. I'm from the show me state. I don't believe him. Right?
He's full of shit.
Right. Yeah, exactly. So I'm like, whatever, right? I'm like, 300% is ludicrous. So we go to New Mexico. He takes me around. He's like, okay, here's some half-acre parcels. I've got like $3,000 saved up for car repairs. And I just do exactly what he says to do. Only real estate I've bought at this point is my house. That's it. I know nothing about raw land. I know nothing about due diligence, anything. So we go to this sale, and there's no one in the room. I bought 10 half-acre parcels in New Mexico at $300 a pop. $300, right? I put them up online, and within a week, they all sell for over $1,200. He was right.
Wow.
He's right. I'm like, This is nuts, right? So I go to another tax deed auction in Arizona, and I took all that money, and I bought as much as I could in this county, and there's no one there, right? I mean, I'm buying properties for like $5, $10, $20. So over the next 6 months, I sold all that property online. I made over $90,000 on one auction. So I say to my wife, I'm like, honey, I think I'm onto something here. I'm going to quit my job and do this full time. She says, absolutely not. Right? So I'm like, okay, look, let me do this part-time and, just see how it goes. So I did it part-time for 18 months. And when the land investing income exceeded my investment banking income, I quit. And I've been doing it full-time now since 2001.
Wow. So
that's a long time, huh?
Yeah. When was it back then? So your first deal was back in 2000, more or less?
My first deal was 2000. And so I rode an amazing wave that probably a lot of people rode from, say, 2001 to 2008. Now, what's interesting about my ride is land is like the long tail of real estate. If we got commercials the head, land's the tail, right? Mm-hmm. And my niche is even smaller in the tail because we're doing these inexpensive lots. We're not doing infill stuff, right? So 2008, I did very well. 2009, I did very well. right?
Mm-hmm.
2010, it caught up, right? And then land is the last to recover, right? As housing starts to recover, land is the last. So we're the last to get hit. We're the last to recover. So my timeline of pain is a little different than most people's.
I want you to jump into more of why real estate, because I always want to know why people get into the real estate, the reasons why. What were your reasons for getting into real estate? Expand upon that.
My reason was really getting out of what I call solo economic dependency, which means if I'm not working, I'm not making money, right? And so for me, it was a way of creating this lifestyle for me, right? So I had a 6-month-old at home. I mean, to be at home and work from home and watch my children getting raised. My wife could walk, could run out at any time, and I could be with the children, and I could do deals from literally anywhere in the world as long as I had an internet connection. So it really allowed me to focus on what, was the most important to me, which was my relationship with my family, and not be caught in this sort of grind of 9 to 5. And, I remember one day getting sick and the feeling of having to call HR and saying, hey, I can't come in today. Like, what? These little things I take for granted now, like not having a commute, not having to having total control in that sense, is really what I love about real estate. And then obviously all the benefits of passive income, and the fact that, I have passive income now that exceeds my fixed expenses. So I can work because I want to, not because I have to, right?
Mark, I applaud you on that, because it took me a long time to figure that out. And you look like you figured that out 10 or 15 years sooner than me, where your lifestyle is dictating your business, not your business dictating your lifestyle. I had it backwards for a long time. And when you figure that piece out and you say to yourself, well, now I have the reason why, I think anybody can achieve. And it's your testament that you figured that out a long time ago. You had a little baby and you said, this is what I want to do. So that's a huge testament to you. I congratulate you on that. I didn't know that. Yeah,
no, I mean, it's tough to do, it's not like flipping on a switch. And I think I did it the right responsible way, which was, hey, work at real estate part-time, not just, throw all my chips in, because I didn't know. I mean, and really I made lots of mistakes from 2001 to 2008 that just because I was arrogant in a way. I didn't have a mentor. There wasn't anybody to bounce ideas off of. I was just making, I was making so much money. I thought I was smart, right? And in reality, it was just the market. So really, for me, the market crashing was a blessing, because then I took this sort of income producing thing I created and made it a real business, and it's created processes and systems. And now we're 90% automated. So I work 2 hours a week in Frontier Properties. This year we've done over 160 deals. We're over 1.1 million, but it's not taking any of my time. And what I love about the land niche is that you can do it from anywhere in the world. I don't have to deal with renters, rehabs, renovations, rodents. Dodd-Frank, we're exempt because we're not dealing with a tenant. We're exempt with RESPA. So it's really what I call the best passive income model. A one-time sale, recurring income, and we don't have to deal with any of the traditional headaches of real estate. It's just shuffling paper, raw land.
Wow. Mark, would you mind diving into how you think people should get into this business? You touched on it a little bit, but give me your idea of how somebody can get into the business.
I think the best way to get into the business is, get educated, right? There's tons of free information out there. One of my favorite people in the whole world is Seth Williams. From Bigger Pockets. He was on your podcast.
Like Seth.
Artie Tipster, amazing information.
He does a great
all
job.
For free.
Yep.
He does a great job. You can go on YouTube. You can go on my site, right? I mean, there's no lack of information today. Like, there's no excuse. Like, I don't have the knowledge, right? I'll tell you the whole model right now, right? So what we do is, let's say that Gino lives in New York, right? Where are you? You guys, you're East Coast, but
Yep, I'm in New York. I'm an hour north of Manhattan.
All right, so you live in so you live in the best city in the world, right? But you bought property. Jake's like, maybe, right? So you bought property in Texas, right? And now you're not paying your tax bills, right? So you're already kind of signaling to me, you don't value this asset anymore. This asset, which once was an asset, is now a liability to you, Gino, right? So what we do is we contact the county treasurer. We get a list of people who owe back taxes, right? And then if they live out of state, even better. That's our lowest hanging fruit. And I'll send you a quote unquote top dollar offer, 20 to 30 cents on the dollar, right? 3 to 5% of those people accept it, right? We then close it.
3 to 5 or 30 to 50? I'm sorry.
No. 3 to 5.
3 to 5%. Gotcha.
3 to 5%, right? So then we close on that deal, put it up online. We sell it within 30 days, and I like to put a note on it because that way we get that passive income, and we make about 1,000% ROI doing owner financing versus cash, which averages about 300%.
What are your rates like?
It varies. So we use the rate as a marketing piece. So anywhere from 12.9% to 8.7%.
Check into cash, man.
Right. So the investment banker in me says, look, if you choose the price, I'll choose the terms. If you choose the terms, I'll choose the price.
Yes, excellent. Jake, this is mom and pop landowners, Jake. We can branch off. Instead of mom and pop apartment owners, these are the mom and pops. And the best thing about it is it's all about motivated sellers. That's the only way you're going to get a deal in real estate. So, guys, that's, I think, the tip of the day here is you need to find somebody who's motivated and who you can solve a problem. Mark's out there solving problems. They don't want this anymore. It's not an asset to them anymore. It's a liability. Mark comes in and says, listen, I've got a solution. You've got a problem. Let's get together. Let's create a win-win situation. So I love that model. That's an awesome model.
Yeah, no, and there's not that type of emotional connection to a piece of raw land that you're not visiting, you're not using, versus let's say a house or some other type of asset, right?
How has that strategy changed from back in 2001 to the peak to 2010, and then it crashed, and now this? How have you seen the whole genesis and the whole evolution of this model?
Well, from a macroeconomic basis, right? From let's say 2001 to 2006, selling super easy, right? Between 2001 and say 2005, it was really hard to buy at the right price in 2005, 2006. You saw prices kind of go up. You also saw more competition as well at tax deed auctions where I would buy a lot of my properties, right? So instead of being a few people in the room, now there's tons of people in the room. And now they're buying at 80, 90% off of, close to retail. It was more speculating versus investing. So then we had to shortcut it and say, look, let's get to these people before it goes to auction. And so that's how we had to adapt in that model, which is why we send out direct mail now versus go to tax deed auctions. So now we have 2009, 2010, no one's got money. You could go back to those tax deed auctions. No one's in the room. You could buy all day long, 10, 15, 20 cents on the dollar. But then selling was tough because at that time, even though we put it at a car payment as far as owner financing, even at that time, no one needs raw land. We all need a place to live, but just like 99% of the stuff in our life, we don't really need. That was tougher to do. So we had to make it irresistible to sell, and it just was a little slower selling cycle at that time. But the nice thing about it is the margin of safety is so big that we could still make money. I was still profitable all those years because I'm buying right. So, maybe I'm not making as much profit and having a huge return, but I'm still doing very well.
Mark, how do you figure out how do you buy at the right price on a piece of land like that? What are your parameters for buying right?
It's super easy. You look at the comps and you divide by 4, and there you go. And that's 300%.
Jake, even you and I can do that, Jake, right?
I got it. So just carry the 1 and divide by 6. Yeah, I got you. All right, cool.
So when did you decide to start getting into the education space and saying, well, I've got something really great here. I want to teach people how to really take control of their lives and really, revolutionize their lives?
Yeah, I mean, once you do something for so long, right? Like I'd been doing it over 10 years. At a certain point, you want a new challenge. I never thought about actually teaching anybody. And it never came into my mind. I used to kind of laugh at those infomercials, like late night real estate infomercial guys, like these gurus. I'm like, oh gosh, this is so sleazy, right? Mm-hmm. And then I had a guy call me and he's like, hey, I want to do what you do. And I'm like, well, I don't really teach it. And he's like, well, what if I pay you X? I'm like, really? Okay. I'll teach you.
Uh-huh.
So that's how it kind of started. And then the fact that he was doing well, that feeling of kind of moving the needle in that person's life was amazing for me. And I'm like, well, let's just do this. And so I talked to my wife about it. I'm like, look, I'm gonna start teaching people how to do this. And she's like, are you crazy? You're going to create your own competition.
My wife said the same thing.
And I'm like, look, there's 3,007 counties in the U.S. There's billions of acres of land, right? We will all run out of money before we run out of deal flow, right? And the other issue is, I mean, it's abundance mentality. It's fear. It's scarcity mentality.
Yes.
And so today, I helped, honestly, Frontier Properties, I love it, right? It's my bread and butter. It pays, for my lifestyle and everything like that. But as far as a sense of making the world a better place, I'm really helping a very small amount of people. I'm helping my family. I'm helping the person that needs to get rid of their property. And I'm helping a buyer get a new asset, right? But Land Geek helps a tremendous amount of people. Scott Todd was at a Fortune 300 company executive. He replaced his income in 17 months, 3 days. And he's retired now. PJ Riley from Bigger Pockets, just from the land flipping niche, made more money this year in land flipping than he does his full-time job. Jeff Axton makes more money on a passive income basis than he does as a full-time firefighter. So I have all these stories and all these people, and Frontier keeps growing. So as Land Geek grows and all the community grows, everyone keeps doing better. So
right.
I always told my wife, I'm like, look, I'll shut it down once people stop accepting my offers. So
that's awesome.
Okay.
Jake is a big systems guy, and he always talks about building systems and building teams. How have you been able to do that and to scale your business and to scale your education at the same time?
So it's all been about software, and we basically have automated it with software. So we created a proprietary software system that we get a list, we upload the list via API using Lob. Those offers immediately go out, and then we can do a search as they come back in, put them into a new piece called due diligence. We go through the due diligence. We've created an outsourced due diligence team in the Philippines. It costs us $11 now to do due diligence on the deals that we close directly without title. If we do title, obviously it's a little bit differently. So sometimes we do these smaller deals, 5,000 or less, we'll just close direct. If it's 5,000 or more, we'll close through title. And so each step of the way, we've created a process, we've created a system, and we built a very inexpensive VA team doing it. So again, very difficult to do. Took a long time to create these systems, but now that it's done, we're literally 90% automated, and it's amazing.
Have you looked at any other type of models, multifamily, residential? Or did you just jump into land and say, forget about everything else? I don't want toilets and tenants.
I flipped a house once, and I made $100,000 on it. It was great, but it was 2005, right, out here in Phoenix. Not smart. I was probably speculating like everybody else, but it was miserable. I'd have to go to the house. I'd have to meet the subs. I'd have to water the plants, right? I can't even change a light bulb. Literally, I have no skills when it comes to any of that stuff. So for me, I'm kind of like Jake. I like the model. I have no passion for raw land, but I have passion for the processes and the systems in place and getting more efficient and that passive income piece of it. But as far as, traditional real estate, it doesn't, I really have, I'm a inch wide and a mile deep. I've never thought about any other model. I am looking at mobile home parks, but that's about it because that's still dirt related. And I've created a new software that automates getting paid with ACH and credit card, and it does all the math. And so I could, plug in, I could buy a whole mobile home park and get paid very easily via ACH and automate it, where, that's the hardest part about dealing with, affordable housing.
Mm-hmm. Can you walk us through a typical deal, like one of the last typical deals you've done, and just tell the viewers how it works?
Sure. I mean, let me think of a good deal here. So 40-acre parcel in Nevada, We sent out the direct mail. We divided by 4 based on the comps. We got it accepted. We went through our due diligence. So basically, we looked at the GIS map. We looked at Google Earth, the aerial map. We wanted to make sure that there's no liens or encumbrances. Title was clean, so we pulled all the paper and looked at the chain of title. Obviously, we know the area, so we know what's going on soil wise with that property. We know the compelling attributes of the property. So we went through a whole due diligence checklist, right? This was a deal. It was 40 acres. We paid $3,200 for it. We closed it within a week for cash with the seller. We didn't have to go through title because we kind of did it all ourselves. So this is the way we closed, by the way. You guys are going to laugh. We literally email the deed to the seller with instructions. Please print, sign, notarize, mail back. We use Simplifile to record, so we get our recordings done pretty fast. We send them a screenshot of the recording, and then we send them a check, right? And I don't even write a check anymore. I use Lob to send the check, right? So we do that, and 90% of the time they're like, okay.
You just swipe for it, man. Just swipe your credit card next time. There's no reason to send a check.
Yeah. So we closed that way. Then we put it up on Craigslist. We sold it within 7 days for I believe it was $24,900.
Why didn't you split it up if it was 40 acres? There's 40 lots, you said.
Okay, so now in this area, you can't split up smaller than 40 without putting in infrastructure. So it's going to cost like $1 million.
Gotcha. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Wow. So what is your best investing tip for the listeners, real estate investing tip?
I think it's what we talked about in the beginning. It's buying assets. I don't care what asset it is. Buying any asset, below market, right? And taking massive action. I think in real estate and I think in life, it's just-in-time learning. Don't drink from the fire hose. If Gino and Jake say, hey, this is the way we invest in multifamily, just do the first step and take action on that. And then go to the next step, right? You don't have to know every aspect of it to start, right? So if you want to get into any type of real estate niche, doesn't matter what it is, right? You have to start with offers, right? You have to start with research. County research is key. If you get that piece wrong, the whole thing can go off the rails, right? Mm-hmm. There's areas you guys probably won't buy in because right? That area is not going to be great for multifamily. Mm-hmm. Same thing with raw land. So we want to go where we know we're going to get profitable deals. We send out the offers, and literally then it just becomes a numbers game.
I like it. It's a Zuckerberg for real estate. So, hey guys, let's take a quick commercial break.
Are you stuck on the sidelines experiencing analysis by paralysis? Are you still trying to get your first multifamily deal done? We've never met an investor who's only done one deal. People are either stuck on the sidelines or they've done multiple deals. We always say that it's education times action that equal results. You've come to the education side of the equation. Let us help you land your first deal. Call Jake and Gino today at 904-314-9473 to set up a strategy session or email us at gino@jakeandgino.com.
Woo! Love that guy. Now back to the show. Hey, we're back. Let's talk about your best habit for success, kind of spin off a little bit from the real estate and talk about, what makes you so successful?
I think...
Is it the treadmill during podcasts? Because that's really cool because you're doing work, but you're getting healthy at the same time. So that would be a good one, but, let's hear from you.
I think
for the YouTube guys, I'm done interrupting.
Yeah. I think you got to be comfortable being uncomfortable, right? Constantly growing, and doing things outside your comfort zone. Like my first YouTube videos were cringeworthy to watch, right? My first podcasts were unbelievably hard to listen to, right? So I would say embrace the suck and still keep going, and if there's one attribute that I would say is the key to my success or anyone's success, it's going to be grit, right? You're going to hit challenges, you're going to hit bumps along the way, and you've got to keep moving forward, keep moving, and staying level emotionally, and take care of yourself, right? I wake up, I work out, I meditate, I take care of myself first. I drink my bulletproof coffee. right? And then I can go out and I can try to make as big an impact as I can that day for my family, my team, my community. But if I'm not taking care of myself, really tough to do. Really tough to do.
Very cool. So you've been in since 2001, I think you said. What has been the biggest mistake in the business since you got into it?
The biggest mistake, one of my deals I did was at an area called Treasure Lake. And this is like Western Pennsylvania. This is like where the wealthy people live, like it's near Penn State, right? And it's a gated community. It was overdeveloped. Thousands of lots, right? Now, all the wealthy people live in Treasure Lake. It's gated, 2 PGA rated golf courses, 3 lakes, $1 million homes. It's beautiful. It's like a country club. They've got restaurants and pools and amazing, right? And Mark starts seeing dollar signs because it's overdeveloped. So there's over 1,000 lots with POA liens, property owner association liens, right? That's dead money for that POA. The county is not getting property taxes on those parcels either because no one's paid the property taxes. So the county has dead money. So Mark flies out with a suit, right? That is like, 2,000.
GQ, baby, here to buy it up.
Yeah. So I'm like, look, I'm your savior, right? You've got dead money. If I sell these properties for $1 and get you a POA fee, you've got now live money, right? For 2 years, I had to negotiate this with them because they were scared that I was going to actually sell all these lots and these new people were going to come in and now they weren't going to be able to get a tee time, right?
The undesirables were coming from the golf course.
Undesirables are going to come. So I finally convinced them, like, look, it's not going to be that way. We'll sell it as investment lots. So I bought them all, right? And if I had a mentor, if I went to a Gino or a Jake, and I went to you guys and said, hey, I'm thinking about doing this deal, you'd be like, Mark, well,
I'd tell you, Mark, go buy some apartments, bro. What are you doing?
You'd be like, first of all, buy some apartments. But secondly, he's like, why don't you mitigate your risk and do a takedown deal? Don't buy all 1,000 of them. Buy 10. Sell those 10 and then do the next 10, right? And do a release that way. But I didn't have a mentor. I didn't, it was literally just not, doing that. I mean, not having the wherewithal or the humility, let's say, to go to other experts and ask for help because, there wasn't anyone like me in land at that time. There wasn't anyone teaching how to invest in raw land. I was just kind of doing it as I went. So that's not to say there weren't other people out there I could have talked to. So I think not having that mentor, not having that personal board of directors was a huge mistake. And then going into this deal so big and not mitigating my risk, well, I buy them up in 2006. Sure, sold $100,000 worth of lots. Great, right? But what happens in 2008? Mm-hmm. Can't sell. Dun, dun. So,
So how much? How bad did you get burned on that one?
Well, I didn't get burnt. I made 100, but I've never. I shouldn't say this because it sounds so weird and unrealistic. But because we buy right, I've never lost money on any deal. But when you factor in your time, right, and you look at your effective hourly rate, I'm flying back and forth from Phoenix to Western Pennsylvania. I've been negotiating for 2 years. That's $100,000 worth of my time. That's the first deal that I ever broke even on, even though technically speaking, I made money.
And it's a huge time suck.
It's a huge time suck. And think of the opportunity cost of all the other deals I could have done while I was doing that.
Yeah.
Right.
Tying you up.
I'll be the positive guy here. I think that made you into a better investor. I think you realize the folly of what you're doing. You realize that you do have time value of money. You realize that your time is worth something, and you realize that you needed help. So I think that mistake led you down. Now, me, I made a mistake.
You're not going to do it again.
I lost a ton of money on my mistakes. I mean, I wish I was as fortunate as you. I lost time and I lost money. So if you're just losing time, but you're gaining that knowledge, because no mistake really in your life is a mistake. Mistakes are not mistakes. I think the mistake is not having action. The mistake comes when you do the action and you see that it's wrong and you do it again, the same thing. That's where the true mistake lies. I think your mistake turned into a huge opportunity, and the fact that you're a genius and you're a great entrepreneur, you saw the mistake. Well, that's a problem. How can I change it into an opportunity? And that's what you did going forward.
Yeah, I agree.
So
thank you.
You're welcome.
Gino, you're such a nice guy.
No, it's the truth, because I feel his pain, because I worked on a deal for a couple of years. I lost a ton of money. I'm still going through one right now. And the worst thing about it is, even if you do break even, it's just the time, the mental anguish that you have going through it. I couldn't imagine negotiating for 2 years. And you probably should have gotten a better deal, because the time value that you spent with them, now that you know now, negotiations, the longer they take, you should be able to wear them out and get more. So that's something I'm sure you learned. But it's hard on you after dealing with people for 2 years and going back on a plane and back and forth, and you think you got it. And then the 2008 crash comes and the uncertainty's there. You can't quantify the money, but as long as the experience is there, you learn from the experience. That's the best thing that could have happened.
Yeah, I agree 100%.
What's your favorite book? It doesn't have to necessarily be a real estate book, but maybe a business book or a systems book that has helped you over the last few years.
I'm a huge Audible guy, and I'm constantly reading. So let's just take a look at what Mark's listening to.
What's spinning on the Audible today?
Let's see. Okay, so right now I am loving Persuasion by Robert Cialdini.
Never read that. Persuasion.
Oh, you stumped Gino.
So,
this guy's got like 3 books going at a time, so this is good. What else?
Yeah, so Robert Cialdini wrote like Persuasion, but now Persuasion is phenomenal. Virtual Freedom is a huge Jake Stenziano book.
Is that
by
your
Chris
VAs?
Tucker, about all VAs and doing that. I have teenagers, so I'm reading Brainstorm by Daniel Siegel. It's more about the teenage brain.
And how to set up cameras and gates and not let them leave the house, stuff like that.
Yeah, I mean, you know what it is? It's understanding like the normal sort of developmental process. Like there's a lot you can learn from teenagers, like their attributes. Like when's the last time you laughed like a teenager with your friends? Right? There's a lot going on with these teenagers that we can learn from. That energy, that enthusiasm for life, that feeling like anything can happen at any moment.
You just need to take a shot of testosterone. That's it.
All right, now I got my tip of the week. Thank you.
Dude, they're just trying to find themselves. Teenagers are trying to step out and trying to become, whether a man or a woman, and trying to find their own identity, I think. And if we give them the space to do that and let them to grow and not criticize them all the time and say, hey, listen, it's okay. I love you. I didn't love what you did, but I love you. And that's a struggle that I have with my children. I want them to grow, but I want to teach them, but I want them to start making their own decisions, because that's what we do as parents. We're supposed to raise them for them to be able to go out into the world and take care of themselves. But it's hard. I've got 6 kids. I homeschool my kids. So I don't want to see them go, but at the same time, it's my duty to make them grow up and to be citizens of this country and to be profitable, to be generous, charitable, all those attributes, and to be able to take care of themselves. And it's hard. Teenagers are hard. They're difficult.
Thank you.
He's got to deal with me too, so it's not easy. So.
Yeah, I mean, I know where I'm going for my parenting advice. So...
Well, you know what? It's funny because Jake, Jake's got the enthusiasm of a teenager, and it's great because I might be a little bit older, but at the same time, that's what works. It's a good dynamic that Jake and I have. You like that, Jake?
I like it.
Yeah, Hug Your Haters was amazing. The Willpower Instinct I really enjoyed by Kelly McGonigal. But if there was like one book that I would say has been transformational, that if you're on a desert island in business and you can only have, say, this one book, it might be The One Thing. I love that book.
Man, every time we get somebody on the show.
I like the Gary Keller. That's
Everybody
right.
I love that book.
Yeah,
I've got 5 copies right here on my desk. I send them as gifts for people. I love that book. I love Essentialism by Greg McKeown.
Mm-hmm.
I love the 10X Rule. Have you guys read the latest Grant Cardone book?
Jake has.
I'm like halfway through it. I've been kind of like you're doing on the treadmill. I ride my bike every day, and I plug the Audible in and go from there.
Yeah. So I mean, I
think
love.
I read that and the 10X Rule. I think it's better than 10X Rule.
Oh, okay. You have.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I think Grant Cardone's great. I do think that he's missing that piece of like, burnout, right? But otherwise,
the funny thing about that is, and Gino and I actually talking about this in a podcast the other day. I used to feel burnout in my corporate job and it's because I could not dictate my schedule. I work way more than I used to, and every Friday it'd be like 1 or 2 o'clock, and I was in like vaccine and pharmaceutical sales. I would get like really worn out. I'm like stressed out and uncomfortable around 2, 3 o'clock on Fridays, and be like, all right, I got to shut it down. I don't get like that anymore, and I work way more than I ever did, and it's because I'm leading the ship, and I'm not being forced into a box and whipped, and this is what you got to do, and you got to do it this way. So I'm creating, and I'm working more. So I don't know that I necessarily agree with that. I think it's, for me personally, it's understanding and be able to dictate. If I want to go work out at 11, okay, I'm taking a break. I'm going to go down and work out in the gym, come back up, ride my bike later in the day. But continuing working through the day has worked better for me. So I don't really hit that burnout when I'm dictating or driving the ship. So, but for what it's worth.
No, I think that's great. I mean, I feel the same way. Like, I'm up at 5 and I can't wait to start my day.
I know, you're itching. Let's go. Let's do it, right?
Yeah, like let's go. Like there's an energy, there's enthusiasm, there's that this is phenomenal when you are steering your own ship. My thing with him is that to be ubiquitous, to be everywhere, like, not everybody can do Periscope, Facebook Live.
If you got
Instagram,
a big enough team, you can.
Twitter. If you got a big yeah. But I mean, like like him and Gary Vee, I think that for the most people, it's they got to focus, right? And then once they focus on that let's say platform, then they can go to the next one. Like, I don't think they should start off trying to 10x that piece, but I do think that they should think in 10x or even 100x, right? That gets you excited. But incremental improvement doesn't excite anybody. Getting 10% better at something doesn't excite anybody. But 10xing it does.
Yeah.
And I think that piece of it is genius by Grant Cardone, and he's tapped into it. So, and listening to him on Audible is phenomenal.
Yeah, he's a great speaker. So speaking of 10x, what project are you excited about right now, and where are you going?
So Lone Geek is going to change.
Oh shit, Lone Geek's coming.
Lone Geek is coming. We hired one of the best developers in the world in San Francisco. In a project, you get there's 3 things, right? You get speed, you get quality, and you get money. You get to pick 2 out of 3. So if you want to save money and you want speed, quality is going to suck, right?
Yeah.
If you want quality and you want money and you want to save money, then it's going to take forever, right? I took quality and I took speed, and I'm paying for it, but it's almost done. It is going to literally change everything. We are the best solution on the market for so many different niches, whether it's an auto dealer, right? Whether it's someone managing a note, whether it's a mobile home park guy, anyone that has to loan someone money or collect money from someone, landlords. This is
tell me how good it is, because I got for my business. I got the Range Rover at like 2%. So you're gonna beat that, because you were throwing out 14% there before.
Okay, so we're not lending money.
Okay. I was gonna say.
No. So we're doing the actual software.
I got you.
Manage. So let's say so your Range Rover dealership has to collect money from you every month, right? So how nice would it be for you to set it up automatically? You can go on web-based, make a prepayment.
Gotcha.
You can see your amortization. It does all the math for you, right? So, that piece is amazing. The solutions on the market right now are like bank level, like $30,000 software packages, right? Or it's like, just crappy software. Then you got to hire people. So this is like amazing, and the pricing is amazing.
So when's it going to launch?
So we're in beta right now. We're going beta wave 2 next week. We're going to bring another group in, and then after beta wave 2, we're going to go for a vertical. It'll probably be my people, just land investors, people that are doing owner financing on notes. Get those people set up, and then go each vertical at a time, because with software, you've got support, and I don't want to be overwhelmed with support. I want that user experience to be so nice. But I'm really
obviously you're subbing that out. Is that going to be you working with your current VA company, or where's the support coming in from?
So the support comes in from the developer right now, and then there's companies that that do it as a SaaS model.
Gotcha.
Guys, I think the takeaway of this is a takeaway for me. Starts in 2001. Wife doesn't want him to quit. Gets into land. Wife says, we're going to stay. Now, all of a sudden, 15 years later, he's doing a software company with Beta 2 and blah, blah, blah. So the path is just amazing, guys. You're not going to get successful overnight. But like Jake likes to say, you have got to grind every part of the way, and you've got to have a vision like Mark does. He wants to serve people, and it's not just about his frontier company making a few bucks for him and his family. It's about serving other people. And the journey is going to take a long time, and I think he's enjoyed the journey, going up that mountain, and he sees the top, but he doesn't care about the top right now because that's not his goal. His goal is just to get it and to help as many people out. And I think his wife has grown with him, right? Because I guess she wanted you to have a nice, comfortable, secure home, and all of a sudden from that beginning to now, I mean, it's an awesome journey. It's a great experience. It's a great story.
It's amazing. It's amazing what real estate can lead to as well. Because now you're doing software deals and stuff, and you started off in land investing, so it's very cool.
It's awesome.
What's the best way for listeners to get a hold of you?
I think the landgeek.com. They can download for free our passive income blueprint. They can get our ebook, How to Avoid the 3 Fatal Land Buy Mistakes, and then they can get our we got 100 Land Geek podcasts they can download in our membership site. They can also go to the Best Passive Income Model podcast and the Art of Passive Income podcast, where we interview experts like you. I hope you guys will come on Art of Passive Income and just grill you guys about multifamily.
We'll talk about notes, man. We'll talk about notes.
We'll talk about notes. Yeah. So I think that's the best way.
Very cool.
That's awesome.
I loved what you said in the beginning about how when you got into real estate, it was about the lifestyle. We just did a podcast on that, and I was very similar story to you. I was out there in the corporate vice and grinding every day. Got out, now have probably 10 different sources of income coming in every month, and the time freedom and the ability to dictate my day and create and all that is just, it's awesome. I love it, and I was really connecting with you when you said that, and the grit, true grit, baby, true grit, grinding it out.
Grit.
So
yeah. I mean, if you're gonna work that hard, you might as well work that hard for yourself and
enjoy
your family. And enjoy it. Exactly. It should be fun. It should be fun.
Yeah.
If you're not having fun, something's wrong.
Mm-hmm.
So very cool.
I agree.
Mark, thanks so much for your time, and we look forward to jumping on your show in the future.
Yeah, absolutely. Gino,
Thanks,
Jake,
Mark.
I really appreciate it. Gino, I'm going to have to get that bat phone from you because I'm going to have to go deal with the teenagers right now. So
You got it.
He's got a taser,
All right.
too.
Perfect. All right. Thanks,
See you
guys.
Thanks.
We trust that you enjoy the Wheelbarrow Profits podcast. Visit jakeandgino.com, your one-stop shop for everything multifamily. See you next time when Jake and Gino share more of their investing secrets with you.